the station where our veterans' voices are heard. MBR Talk.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Welcome, Quack.
Program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Ah, there it is. You tuned into the Farron Dozier Show on nbradio.us, TikTok edition, and Live Sports. Catch me here Wednesdays at 4 p.m. Pacific time, only on nbradio.us. Shout out. How'd I do? Was that a good take? That might be. Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm blessed, my brother. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Hey, did you see the game last night?
Oh, that was a good game.
But did you see the shot?
I lost money from that shot.
Oh,
too,
man, that shot was cold,
I
man.
hated it, but it was good. Damn. What's in those jeans?
You really want to know?
I do.
Exhaustion, muscle spasms, asthmatic issues, unexpected sickle cell trait crises.
Damn. Are you serious? When I was young, I found out I had sickle cell trait. My mom's told me, but I ain't have no knowledge of it. But when I got older, I had a child, and the doctor told me my daughter has sickle cell trait. You know the fact that both parents have sickle cell trait, there's a 50% chance the child may have the trait, and 25% chance the child may have the disease.
Hey, that's what's the count. Do you know that 2.5 million people in the United States have sickle cell trait, 300 million people globally? I didn't find out I had sickle cell trait until I was in the Army, 10 years. Next thing you know, I had a sickle cell trait exertion site.
Sickle cell? I thought that was a black gene or something.
Nah, man, the Latin community is number 2. 1 out of 36,000 babies are being born with sickle cell disease. You could be Caucasian, Mediterranean, European. You gotta know your bloodline, man. There is an inherited gene in our community that has been forgotten. The name is sickle cell trait. WDCONSCT, also known as What's the Count, is out to bring awareness, education, and prevention to people all over the globe. Want more information? Call us now at 323-215-5384 or visit www.wdconsct.org. All right, welcome to another episode of the Farron Dozier Show right here on MB Radio. That's right, MB Radio. Again, today we always have a spectacular, important show for you right here on the network. Make sure you go to mbradio.us if you would like to contribute to our platform. They provide these services for us. They're giving veterans a voice. And again, I'm glad to be here to be able to have my military talk show here on their platform. Today, I have a very special guest for you. But before I get started, as you saw the public service announcement around sickle cell trait, that is a very important conversation. Alongside of that has been a topic around rhabdomyolysis that was part of my diagnosis when I collapsed at ANOC in 2006. There has previously been a WNBA athlete, Kelsey Mitchell, who was in the playoffs in their final opportunity to make it to the next level of their playoffs, and she collapsed during the game, was diagnosed as having rhabdomyolysis. And so with that conversation, anybody can experience rhabdo. Sickle cell trait, we're more susceptible of having that exertional sickling with rhabdo because of our red blood cell mutating. However, there are other reasons why a person could experience rhabdomyolysis. So if you want more information with that, wdconsct.org, or you can go to www.rhabdo.info. And I'll do some more talks about that later on toward the end of the show. So we're going to play one more PSA, and then we're going to come back and get into my guest. We are strangers. We met on social media. That's the power of social media. And so I invited him to share his military experience. He's still active duty right now, just getting in Texas. So he's going to share his life before, during, and not after service, but maybe he'll talk about what's next for him when it's time to get out of the military. So we're going to play one more PSA and come right back. This is some partners of mine, Call Me Go. I really appreciated them for being a part of my show on KCA Radio. That's right. You can catch me on KCA Radio, 106.5 FM, 250 AM on Sunday nights at 8 p.m. But this is Call Me Go.
Some of us still carry the burden of battle. It threatens to drown us in our everyday lives. In battle, we had our weapons and combat gear to keep us safe, to keep us confident. But when we returned home, we were not armed with weapons and gear to cope with our own minds. I was lucky to find my combat gear, my mental weapon, and it's called Calmago. Calmago is a drug-free device that allows you to achieve calm in less than 3 minutes. In moments of anxiety, stress, anger, panic, or insomnia, not with medication, but rather by activating the parasympathetic nervous system through breathing regulation and multisensory stimulation. A recent study has shown that Calmago decreases PTSD and anxiety levels in veterans, helping those who are suffering and having a long-lasting effect. Visit Calmago.com to learn how you can get Calmago through the VA or with a special veterans discount code.
All right, again, welcome back to the Farron Dozier Show. Again, thank you for listening today. As my guests get situated, just a lot of things that we care about here on this platform. One personal to me is that veteran conversation around veteran suicide and just helping other veterans discover what's next, right? And for my brothers and sisters on this platform, a lot of us have used these talk shows to interview other people and to figure out, our own personal what's next. I've been at this for about 15 years. I don't take it lightly. Every episode is like the first time. And so just being able to, for me, stay connected to my military community was most important for me. If you ask any veteran, retired or serving, the one thing that they say they miss or they are drawn to is the camaraderie. And for me, that is that sense of belonging. Our brothers and sisters, we find relationships here. We find connectedness. Yeah, we may, still have our differences outside of this uniform. However, we know that we would give our life for one another, right? And so for me, that's really most important. I grew up in the military, learning that the civilians are not going to understand me. And I can tell you that when I got out, I didn't understand me. So I put the pressure on someone else to understand me when I don't understand Farron. And so the relatedness for my show is really what's important. So if you hear something that you can relate to, I believe that that's something that's most important for us to have that relatedness, that connectedness. And again, when it comes to that veteran suicide, they say that 1 every 65 minutes a veteran completes his life. And so we're out to interrupt that conversation. So again, thank you for tuning in. I see my guest is back. So let's get this party started. Hey, how you doing? Yeah. Let's see what's going on over there. I know he was having some stuff going on over there with his signal, so we'll give him a chance to get situated. But yeah, very important topics. If you want to be a guest, you can hit me up right there at Farron Dozier, where you can share your story. I'll set you up with the interview, and you can come and be a guest right here on the deck here. All right. As I mentioned, the Rhabdo talk, very important, the suicide awareness. But again, we talk about just about life, just about what life looks like. So let me see if my guest. All right. How you doing? Can you hear me out there?
You're a little low, but yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, your signal's just a little. Adjust your phone a little bit too. Your top of your head is cut off too. There you go. All right, so let's see if we can make this work. Do me a favor and introduce yourself to the listeners. Yeah, I don't think that's going to work. You can't hear me?
No, I can't.
Yeah, I don't think your signal's working properly. All right, let me do some checking around here. This is again the Farron Dozier Show. We're gonna do our best to have our guests stream in today's episode, but we're gonna play this PSA here. This is I'm working with Caldwell Williams. He is a Korean era veteran and has had a curriculum, mental health curriculum, in the 1960s. Graduated from UCLA, and today he's 91, and I met him in the same journey of doing my own work around my mental health. And so this is part of his story. And, we know that he's got more life behind him. And so we just thank him for the opportunity to have this curriculum. I am his curricular trainer. And so once, whenever he passes, he's leaving it to me to carry on the mission. Very, very important. Like I said, he's been doing this for elementary school, middle school, high school, corporations, and they came out of retirement to take care of veterans. So play this real quick. I'm going to make sure my guest is situated, and then we'll come right back here on the Farron Dozier Show.
The most compelling social need of humans is to belong. All four of my grandparents were born slaves. My father's father, he was 7 years old and sold away from everything and everybody he knew. He never again saw any member of his family. My father, he was born in 1884. His mother had died in childbirth, and he raised himself from age 8. The sheriff came with his posse, took my father and my oldest brother and beat them. My father died with scars on his back from that beating. If the sheriff puts you in jail in a Jim Crow South, where do you turn to seek justice? I love school. It became a source of me finding myself. When I had graduated from UCLA in 1957 and was never even able to get an interview, no Jews, no Negroes, no Hispanics, no Orientals need apply. Now what do I do? Boy, you add color to our faculty. That's all we're interested in. All the other counselors were instructed to give me their failing seniors. Dopers, rebels, suicidals. Listening to 12th graders who were not going to graduate, they told me what was going on in their lives. I discovered that I had something to offer people that I thought had everything. Word was already out on the campus that the skinny black dude was cool. I got all these kids who want to talk to me, and I don't have enough time to see them. I think I might be able to see everybody if I saw them in groups. Individual psychotherapy on a couch was the only method. Skinny black dude wanted to do groups? You can't do that, because it doesn't exist. To hell with them, let's do it anyway. Parents want to know, what are you doing to bring about this reaction in my kid? I've been sending my kids to the best psychiatrist in Southern California, and this hasn't happened. This shit works. Developing adolescence without narcotics is a radical new national idea. Oh, you can't do that. Alternative school that includes sensitivity to the mental health needs of our students. This is too big for you. Would you be willing to train my managers? Yeah. Who's Caldwell Williams? He hasn't published anything. 22 Iraq-Afghan veterans committing suicide every day. I think I know who these young people are. Mr. Williams, you don't want to touch this. You don't know who we are, Mr. Williams. And I said, yes, I know who you are. Maybe you don't know who you are. Did your parents encounter racism? Oh my gosh, yes. How about your grandparents? Oh my, even worse. Then how did we get here? Someone persisted and prevailed in spite of. I would assert that no less is required of us.
This is Farron from the Farron Dozier Show, 8 p.m. Pacific Time on KCAA Radio, 106.5 FM, 1050 AM. Also streaming from the KCAA Radio.com website, the station that leaves no listener behind, and MBR Radio. That's right, MBR Radio on all their streaming platforms, including MBR Radio on Roku TV, Sunday nights live, 8 p.m. Pacific Time on KCAA Radio and MBRradio.us. The Farron Dozier Show. For more information, search farrond.com. All right, welcome back to the Farron Dozier Show. Let's see if we can get this episode situated. I see my guest has relocated. We got some car chronicles going on. What's happening?
What's going on? Hopefully you can hear me better, see me better.
Oh, yeah, you're good now. Thank you. Thank you for adjusting.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about that office, but it's like a dead zone when it comes to my phone.
I know, it's cool. I appreciate you for going outside. All right, let's get started with the episode here. Do me a favor, introduce yourself, and then we'll get started.
Yeah, my name is Sergeant First Class Pacheco, but first name is Alfredo. I'm originally from Ocala, Florida, and then joined the Marine Corps back in August of 2005. Got out in August of 2014. Became a law enforcement officer back in Florida, in Orlando, from 2014 to 2018. Then I joined the Army. I've been in the Army since September of 2018.
So let's go back in time a little bit. So who is, Sergeant First Class Pacheco before Sergeant First Class Pacheco? Growing up in this environment.
Growing up, I grew up in a rough area. I'm from a rough area in Orlando, close to Orlando. Then I moved to the suburbs up in Ocala. If you go up there, it's real country type. Even then, I still found myself in trouble. But I was a baseball player. I played.
Oh.
That was the only thing that kept me out of trouble was baseball.
No kidding. When you look back at that childhood, because those ages are so important, right? And sometimes as adults we discount those experiences. But what do you think was going on in those early teenage years that you saw was like headed to trouble?
So luckily I've never did anything like criminal, right? I was always just that kid that trouble always found them.
Yeah.
Nothing with law enforcement, but just trouble would always find me. But I was hanging out with the crew of guys that were getting into legal issues, doing the drugs, doing all that kind of stuff. Even though I never got into that kind of stuff. So kind of seeing that and being around it, but also I always had mentors. I've had cousins, I've had uncles, that joined and served. So I kind of saw they were better off than how my family was. My dad barely finished high school. My mom barely knows any English. So it was rough for her to know, like, find a great job, for him to kind of find a great job. So me growing up, I kind of just like, all right, I'm gonna be a baseball player. That's it. I'm gonna be a baseball player. I'm gonna get drafted by the Dodgers, right? Because at the time back in the early '90s or the mid '90s, the Dodgers were horrible.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm gonna get drafted by the Dodgers. I'm gonna make the money. I'm gonna take the Dodgers back to the World Series, and then When it's time for me to be a free agent, I'm gonna go sign with my Yankees. Oh,
what
so
was that? So I have a sports segment, and the baseball segment is called Gloves for Days. So what was your gloves for days? What had you even attract to that sport out of all the other opportunities to play different sports? What was the baseball the draw?
I'm Puerto Rican, so I think it's just a part of the culture.
Mm.
I've been playing baseball since I was 3 years old. So it was just ingrained in me since a little kid, playing t-ball at 3-4 years old.
Yeah.
And then, as much as I wanted to quit, like back in when I was in middle school, my friends didn't think it was cool no more.
Right.
My dad was like, "Nope, you're gonna play baseball. I don't care what you do, you gonna play baseball."
Yeah.
Okay. I got into high school and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna play football. Everybody plays football.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna get into football." I wasn't great at football because I had never played it until I got to high school. So I was the third string tight end.
Yeah.
But again, I made the baseball team every year, and I was always the starter. So I was a freshman on the varsity team and all that. So
that's cool. I want to touch on your parents, if you don't mind. I think it's important, and I thank you for sharing. Like, so they came to barely any English, barely any education. You as an adult today, looking back at how you were raised with your parents, a lot of us discover like, man, they did the best they could with what they had, right? And then sometimes we have those things that I wish I had a better life. How did you manage that in your adult life, looking back at your parents now, thanking them for the life that they provided with the best, with what they had?
So I always used and then if you look at my Instagram, and when I always tell kids, don't get complacent, right? Join the military. This is going to be a great stepping stone, right? And I use that as an example because I look at my dad at the age of 70. I think he's 75 right now. And he's 75 years old and still has to work.
Yeah.
He cashes to the Social Security check and whatnot from to being over 67 or whatever.
Yeah.
But he still has to find himself a part-time job because it's not enough.
Yeah.
And then same thing with my mom. So I think when I look at them, I'm like, I don't want to be at that age and still have to work.
Yeah.
When I look at my uncles that served, they're home chilling. They're retired. They own property. They are living their best life in their late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I'd rather be old and retired and not have to worry about nothing. Let me be the annoying grandfather that shows up, right? I want to be that guy.
Why we gotta be annoying? Why we gotta be annoying?
I want to be the one that steps in unannounced, like, hey, I'm just here to see my grandbabies, right? That's what I want to be.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I don't want to be. My kids call me, hey, Dad, are you working this weekend? Do I want to bring the grandkids? And
yeah,
I don't want to be that grandfather.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. It's important. We're definitely going to get into the military career portion of that. The baseball, and now you're in the military mindset. Do you see the similarity of the identity being a baseball player? Did that help you in those teenage years to find something to connect to outside of those, the people you were running with?
The military was never my plan A, right? It wasn't even my plan B. I think what kind of helped me out though was coming from playing sports in high school.
Yeah,
I was at least athletic enough to join the military.
Yeah,
so I didn't have to, like, we would go running, and I'm like, all right, cool, let's go run. Physically, it set me up.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to like the actual aspect of being on a team and all that, definitely helped me out because I was able to like help have that teamwork. Because
Yeah,
the military is all about teamwork.
for sure. Yeah. Was it plan A, plan B, maybe plan C or D? Was that what was the what was going on? Well, go ahead.
I would say it was probably like plan D, right? Plan A, like I said, play baseball, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I got hurt my senior year, so all my scholarships went away. I ended up being looked at as a liability.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay,
Wow.
I'll look at playing minor league ball
Ah.
in Puerto Rico. I'll
Okay.
go. My parents talked me out of that one. They're
What?
like, nah, you're not going to Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is dangerous. Puerto Rico
Oh
is
my
horrible.
goodness.
You think this is bad? You're just going to get lost over there in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
You're going to probably get into the drug game over there or whatever. So I got talked out of going to Puerto Rico to play baseball.
They had their concerns about you for sure.
Definitely. Because Puerto Rico is not the greatest place, not the safest place, I say.
Yeah.
So then I started looking at, okay, maybe I can go play at a JUCO league somewhere, go to junior college and play baseball. But the same concerns that the major universities had were the same concerns that the JUCO league had.
Really?
Was how are you going to be injury prone? So then I talked to a Marine Corps recruiter. Actually, I talked to an Army recruiter. And he was late to our appointment. And I was sitting out on the curb. And a Marine Corps recruiter popped out. And he's like, hey, you ever thought about joining the Marine Corps? Like, you know what? Yeah. I'm looking at the Army right now. Like, and then he brings me into the office. I recognized one of the recruiters that was in the office. I had grown up with him.
Oh wow!
From church, so I knew him. I was like, "Oh, I didn't know you were a Marine." And next, I was like, "Hey, yeah, this all sounds great." They gave me the whole spiel about the Marine Corps and everything.
Yeah.
And I was like, "I only got one concern: can I play baseball in the Marines?" And they're like, "Yeah, you can." I was like, bet, let's do this then. I could continue to play baseball. And I did. I ended up being on the all-military team one year.
Wait. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Come on, hold on. See, ladies and gentlemen, we're strangers, right? So I don't do any research on my guests. I like to be surprised just like y'all. So hold on. So you actually was able to play baseball in the Marine Corps. Tell us about that.
So for 1 year, I was called TDY, which is pretty much you go away to do whatever.
No kidding.
And I was on the all-military team. So we had guys from all the branches, and we went to Japan, we went to South Korea, we went to Puerto Rico, we went to Colombia, Venezuela.
No kidding. That's legit.
And all over the United States playing baseball.
That's legit, man. That's cool. I had an interview with a guy, an officer who played basketball for the Army and traveled around the country as well. And that, so that's cool.
Yeah. I think they got rid of the all-military team, but back in 2007, that was a thing. Or 2008, that was a thing.
No kidding. So you actually fulfilled that.
Yep.
I thought they were going to set you up and say, yeah, but no, you didn't really do it. That's wild. That's cool.
No, they had it for a while. And then after that, that's when I started having kids and stuff. And I was like, all right, let me put baseball to the side.
How did you deal with that? Because again, when I talk to athletes, that identity is hard to take that jersey off, right? And because it's still in that subconscious mind to want to play sports. So how did you deal with that part of that, if at all?
I mean, I still play. I'll find little softball leagues around the city.
Yeah.
Do like a little pickup game or whatnot.
Yeah.
But and then when I was stationed out there in California, I was always doing events with the Angels. So I would do baseball clinics out there in with the Angels, teaching
What?
little kids how to play baseball.
What?
And so I was always involved with the game.
Okay.
With the Angels.
Let me ask you this transition, from high school, and then you get into the Marine Corps, the yellow feet. Talk about that transition into from the mindset of a, outside civilian type athlete to your brain clicking over to that Marine mindset. Did you notice a change or a shift in that?
Oh yeah. So I joined at 17. I was 17 years old when I joined. Straight out of high school. And my mom still has all my letters, right?
Wow.
20 years later, she still got them all.
What?
And every time I go home, she'll like, she sees what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
She's like, "Hey, you remember when you were their age and this is what you wrote me?" And so
that's cool.
That first 2 weeks, all my letters were pretty much cussing out my parents for letting them sign. Right? They had to sign for me to go. I'm a minor.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know why the hell you signed those papers. I'm over here all miserable. There's people yelling at me. I just want to go home. And my parents, both of them, are really strict.
Yeah.
Nothing abusive, but they would raise their voice, and I knew, hey, they're getting serious. It's time for me to back down.
Yeah.
So I remember when the letter said to my mom wrote me back. The first letter, it's like, hey, those guys are nothing compared to what I'm gonna do to you if you don't pass. And I was scared of my mom. So
that's cool.
Knowing that the drill instructors, they were gonna yell at me, they were gonna get in my face, they're gonna intimidate me.
Yeah.
But there's this 5'1", 5'2" Latina in this 5'1", 5'2" Puerto Rican lady in Florida that if I showed up empty-handed, it was going to be even worse.
You didn't want to see that.
Yeah, I didn't want to see that. So
that's cool. Was there a culture shock being with Marines that are from all different walks of life? Now you're in this environment. Was that transition for you pretty decent?
I think it was kind of decent just because. So I went to Parris Island, South Carolina.
Okay.
So anyone east of the Mississippi goes to Parris Island. Having majority of my family from New York, I kind of blended in with those guys.
Oh yeah.
But being from the South, I also blended in with those guys. So it's like I knew the hip hop game with the New York guys. Yeah. I also knew the country game when it came from the guys from Georgia and Florida and all them.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I kind of had a mixture of best of two worlds.
Yeah. Cool.
So
cool.
It wasn't really a culture shock because I kind of knew how each geographic is.
Yeah.
The more of a culture shock was someone telling me when to do something, how to do something. Like in the Marine Corps, they dress you by they call it dressing by the numbers.
Yeah, yeah.
So they turn on the light, everybody gets on this black line, and you in your t-shirt and shorts, and you get on that black line, and they're gonna tell you how fast to put on your pants, how fast to put on your boots, how fast to put on your top. They're giving you like 1 minute to shave your face. Like,
wow.
So everything was to a T, and that was the most difficult part for me because I'm the type of guy that likes to take their sweet time.
Get dressed, check it out.
I gotta look at myself in the mirror. I'm like, yeah, that looks good. Oh man, this shirt's a little stretched out, so let me go get me another one.
Yeah.
I missed the spot when I'm shaving. Let me clip that real quick.
Yeah, not them days. That's cool. I appreciate you sharing that. In your military, in that first block of career Marines, what do you remember the most when you from that?
I would say it would be my first deployment. So that happened really fast.
Yeah.
It was so I went to boot camp August of 2006. I graduated August of 2005. Graduated October 2005. Went home for 10 days. Went back to do Marine Corps training.
Mm-hmm.
And so by the time I got to my first unit in Camp Pendleton, it was March, April timeframe.
Mm-hmm.
And I showed up there, and the guy in charge, which was our first sergeant, he was like, "Hey, you have any issues?" No. They're like, "Do you drink?" Nope. You got any kids? Nope. You married? Nope. And I checked all the boxes that he was asking me for. Like, cool. Hey, that sergeant right behind you, he's gonna help you get in process, because in 3 months you're going to Iraq. Cool. Turn 19 in Iraq.
Now let me ask you this before you continue. Joining the military during that time, did you have an idea that would happen, or you didn't think about it at all?
Yes and no.
Everything was going on still in 07 and 08.
Yeah, so that was the only part that my recruiter lied to me about. Right? I wanted to go infantry. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be combat arms, right? And my mom, being a mom, right, was like, "Hey, the only way I would sign these papers is if he is in a safe job." So the recruiter was like, "Okay, we could put him in the logistics, because they don't let you pick your job in the Marine Corps."
Yeah.
So I picked your field. They let you pick your field. And I picked logistics.
Yeah.
Didn't know anything about logistics. I was just like, let me just see what it's gonna happen. My mom was like, "Hey, logistics is gonna be an excellent job for when you get out."
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, okay. So I ended up being a warehouse clerk. But when I went to Iraq, I never thought that I would see combat.
Right.
I just thought I was going to be stuck in a warehouse somewhere in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
But somebody got to deliver the supplies.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, I was in a warehouse, but somebody got to deliver the stuff to the boys.
Yeah.
So there I am doing convoys and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Luckily, I never saw direct combat, but I was in the atmosphere.
Yeah. I appreciate you saying that, because I was AGR, and I tried to get overseas, but because during that time they were piecing our unit apart, the AGR personnel could only go if the whole unit went. So I couldn't volunteer my time, but we did get deployed at Fort Irwin, and we were training soldiers that were going to Iraq, right? And so I was in POL. I was platoon sergeant for the POL company. So we trained the other fuelers, how to maneuver. Because I don't know if you remember, at that time, they started attacking the convoys. And that was one of the reasons why they brought us in 04, because they started attacking the beans and the bullets and stuff like that. And the mechanics and the logistics guys, they didn't worry about qualifying. I'm here for mechanics.
That's why I say I wasn't in direct combat, right? Because I never shot my weapon in combat. Yeah. But we did hit a couple IEDs. We did get attacked on one point, but it was only the lead vehicle, and it was like a pop shot, and then they bounced.
Yeah.
And then the rules of engagement back then was kind of crazy.
Yeah, the Geneva Convention, we couldn't do anything through that Geneva Convention.
So my truck was always like the 5th or 6th trucks out of like 20 something trucks that were out there in the convoy.
Yeah.
So if you're that far out and all they did was a couple of pop shots to the first truck, you ain't going to do nothing.
Yeah.
So it was always the lead truck that saw action.
Yeah. Thank you for saying that, man. I hope people, really understand, because that was really a difficult time for logistics and for the mechanics, like I said, because of they had to learn how to maneuver those vehicles and respond to those actions. So thank you for that. What was the transition out of that Marine Corps to the next phase of your life?
So I got out of the Marines because after that deployment, that was the only deployment I went on for the next 8 years of my career.
Whoa.
That happened. That deployment was in my first year.
Yeah.
Right. So for 8 years, I did nothing.
Nothing, or
nothing.
Not what you thought you was gonna do.
No. So in my first 4 years, everything happened quick, right?
Yeah.
So it's like go to training, go to deployment, came back, played baseball, boom. I got stationed in Japan for a year, and then I came back, and I was stagnant. Pretty much for 7 years, I was stagnant. When I was in Japan, because my son at the time was only a year old, and I had missed his whole first year.
Yeah.
I was like, send me to a unit that's non-deployed. So they sent me to Camp Pendleton. There's a place called Essen Range, which that's where Marine recruits go learn how to shoot.
Okay.
And I was a coach there for 2 years. So I was like, all right, cool. In those 2 years, I ended up having my daughter. All right, cool. Hey, send me to another unit. I don't care if they deploy or not. I'm obviously going to keep popping kids because I'm. So they sent me to another unit that was notoriously known for deployments, which was 9th Communication Battalion. And I never got to deploy in my 2 years with that unit. So then I picked up sergeant, and I was like, hey, I know this other unit, which is the combat engineers, they're always on deployment.
You trying to get out of town? You trying to get out of town?
I was just trying to get some more action. So ideally at the time, Afghanistan was popping back off.
Yeah.
In 2011, 2012.
Exactly, yeah.
And I was like, I'm just trying to make my way to Afghanistan. I already went to Iraq. Let me go to Afghanistan.
Yeah.
So I go to the 7th Engineer Support Battalion, and no deployments in my time there. So I decided, you know what? This is it. I'm done.
Yeah.
Obviously, at the time, Obama was already pulling troops out.
Yeah.
Trying to make this military smaller.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that's the writing on the wall for me to go. They're like, no. If you re-enlist for another 2 years, we'll put you in the MEU. The MEU is when the ship goes for all to a certain spot.
Oh yeah. They're gonna put you on the ship now.
Yeah, they're gonna put me on ship. I was like, all right, cool. I did the whole workup for that, and then it got canceled.
Oh.
And I was like, all right, I'm done. There's no point for me to be here. I'm here to deploy, to fight, and there's no fight. Yeah. So
you trying to get it
so
in.
I left. I was like, you know what? I'm a warehouse clerk. I've done years of experience. I've been in leadership roles. I'm pretty much a manager.
Yeah.
So I applied at a whole bunch of different companies. My hometown was opening Amazon at the time. That's when Amazon was starting to grow. So I applied for a manager position at the distribution plant of Amazon.
Yeah.
And the guy told me, he's like, hey, I thank you for your service, but there's nothing different between you and the guy that we can hire with 9 years of experience.
What?
And I was like, what you mean? I've done this, and this. they're like, that's great. That's a great experience. But you don't have no education. You don't have no certifications.
Oh
You don't
my
have
gosh.
anything to that we're looking for at a manager from a manager,
What?
certification wise.
Yeah. That's the red tape.
And I was like, okay. So I got into law enforcement. Law enforcement was when I got hired on was at the rise of Black Lives Matter. So a lot of things were crazy at the time. And so I decided I stuck with it. I was like, you know what? Year one happened, and I was like, okay.
Now hold on. I don't want you to dance around that. That was a serious time. So, you know, for civilians, people out in the world, they look at military and they look at like a normal transition from a military personnel is to law enforcement, right? Because you have that mindset already. You kind of have those skills already. For you, going from Marine to the law enforcement, and what the world has to say about that, as how people are being treated, right? And I look at it like this. You know, people say, "Oh, you can one bad apple," but sometimes there's the case where there's an omelet being made, and there's one rotten egg, right? And that rotten egg can make the whole omelet stink.
Right.
So for you in that transition into law enforcement and looking back out into the civilian world, and again saying all the craziness that's going on, emotionally, mentally, how did you deal with that part of it?
So pretty much no. So in the military, we're safe for the most part. Right?
Yeah.
I leave home in the morning, and my kids know that unless something tragic happened, like a car accident or something like that, I'm coming home that night.
Yeah.
Right. Versus when I was in law enforcement, I worked the night shift. So my shift started at 7 o'clock at night and ended at 7 o'clock in the morning. So I would kiss my kids goodbye, not knowing if I was going to come back that morning.
Wow.
Right. So they were always happy to see me when I walked in the door every morning.
Right.
Because they didn't know if dad was going to come back or not.
Wow.
If they were going to wake up and dad was going to be there. Right. And I've had a couple of close encounters.
Yeah.
Wow. Doing the parking, pulling somebody over for a stoplight and a gun be pointed at me and stuff.
Yeah.
Right. That's not the kind of things that you see in the media.
Right.
You always see it vice versa.
Exactly.
But that first year, I think it was hard knowing that, yes, I'm getting paid more as a law enforcement officer, but I'm risking my life every single day.
Every day, right?
Every day.
Wow.
Like, people, they have more respect for the military than they do law enforcement officers. And I would say it should be vice versa.
Yeah.
You should have, military still needs their respect, but I should say the law enforcement officers should be held to that same love that the military guys have.
For sure.
Because it's not easy. Definitely not an easy profession. I think what kind of got me back into the military was the point of I let year one happen. I told my wife, I was like, I think I'm tired. I think I'm gonna go back to the military. And she was like, "You sure? You hated your last few years in the Marines?" Like, yeah, but I miss it. Like, she's like, you make more money now. I'm like, yeah, but I waste more money now too. I'm like, because we got bills to pay now.
Yeah.
So she's like, well, go back. I'm like, but I'm somebody that has a lot of pride, right? So like, you know what? I'm not going back. I got out for a reason. I'm not going back. So year 2 happens, and Orlando gets the terrorist attack on a gay nightclub.
Oh yeah,
nightclub.
Yeah. I remember that.
I was on call for that. I didn't like how they handled that situation. So then I was like, you know what? I'm going back to the military. that was it. I'm going back.
That was it.
And then at the time, I was overweight. I had gained some weight. So I go to Marine Corps, and the guy was like, hey, man, you got to shed like 30 pounds if you want to come back. I'm like, really?
Like,
really? That much different.
Really?
Like, all right. So I got my butt in the gym, started doing everything. And then sometime in that time frame, the Marine Corps changed their tattoo policy. So this used to be allowed, and it wasn't allowed then.
Come on.
So then I was like, all right, let me go talk to the other branches.
Yeah.
And the way it was back home was you had the Marine Corps, the Navy, the Air Force, and then the Army.
Yeah.
So go to the Navy. I do all the paperwork with the Navy. I'm ready to go to the Navy. The guy's like, hey, yeah, I'll call you for your appointment so you can go to MEPS. All right, cool. Week goes by, 2 weeks goes by, a month goes by.
What?
I go back to the office. I'm like, hey man, yeah, my bad, I forgot about you.
Oh, no.
Oh, I was like, all right. He's like, I'll let you know. All right.
Ooh,
more time went by.
That don't even sound right.
So I went over to the Air Force recruiter. They're not in the office. Never could find them. Never at all. So then I go to the Army's office. I was like, hey man, it was a brand new recruiter. He didn't even have a computer yet. He's just sitting at a desk. He's like, can I help you? It's like, yeah, man. I'm just trying to come back. Marine Corps, they don't want me back because of my tattoo. The Navy's taking too long, and I can't find nobody in the Air Force. He's like, well, I could get you to MEPS next week. I'm like, all right, let's do whatever we got to do.
Yeah.
So he goes to his counterpart, and we did all the paperwork right there. The guy's like, hey, man, the earliest, that was on a Monday. He's like, the earliest I can send you to MEPS is Thursday. You good with that?
Whoa.
I'm like, yeah, I'm good. They do all my paperwork. I do the physical. They had to get stuff back from the Marine Corps to make sure that I can keep my rank and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So in the time it took them to do like the background investigation and so I can keep my rank and all that kind of stuff, it took them another week or so.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as they got everything that they needed, he's like, hey, man, all you got to do is go back to MEPS and sign your contract.
Wow.
I'm like, bet. Go over there, talk to the guidance counselor. He's like, hey, man, I know you're a supply, but we don't need any supply sergeants.
Yeah.
Do you mind going infantry?
Uh-oh.
Bet. I want to do that in the beginning.
That's what I'm here for.
I'm like, that's exactly what I wanted when I was 17 and my mom wouldn't let me. So here I am turning 30.
Now, you're turning 30 now, right? So
at that time that I enlisted, I was turning 30.
30, right? Okay, yeah, okay, I'm tracking.
So I was like, yo, here I am going infantry at the age of 30. So we did that, and it was a quick process for me to go from how to go back to basic training and stuff because I was out for too long.
Wait, you did?
Yeah.
Woo! So you was the old dude in there.
Yeah, I was. It was weird being 30, wearing the sergeant rank in my chest.
Wow. And basic?
I had basic training.
And you had your E5 on.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. And the only thing that was different was I didn't get treated like a private.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't have to sleep in a squad base like they do. I had my own room.
Oh, wow.
Because I wasn't a trainee. I was a trainee, but I wasn't a first-time trainee.
Right.
So they would tell me, like, you're the APTs at 6:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
All right. So I knew, hey, make
Where you
sure I'm
had
in
to
my
be.
PT.
Yeah, you knew where you
I'm
needed to be.
in my PT gear. I'm in formation at 5:30, just like everybody else.
That's cool.
I go do PT, come back, make sure that I'm good with the training schedule, whatever we're doing that day, and meeting the timelines that they had.
No doubt. Wow.
The group of privates that I was with, they knew they messed up whenever they heard prior service come here. Because I didn't get trashed like they did. They heard prior service come here, they knew they're about to go do push-ups, do whatever they're doing. So
that's cool though. I bet you that was different. That was different.
It was. And then the drill sergeant started like, hey, you smoke? I'm like, at the time I vape. I'm like, I vape. They're like, hey, all we ask is that you don't bring it around the privates. Keep that in your room.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right. But when we would get to, depending on what we were doing, if we were like at the shooting range or whatever, the drill sergeant would give me their vape. And then they were at night after dinner, I'm going to my room.
Wow.
I didn't have to do none of the stupid stuff that they were doing after dark.
Wow, that's legit. That's different. That is different.
And then I had my phone the whole time just because I had to leave it in my room as well. But as soon as I got off for training, I'm calling home.
Calling the house. Wow. So so where did you end up after that? So did you end up at an infantry company or where did you go from there?
Yep. So after basic training, I went to Fort Polk, Louisiana. I was with 3rd Brigade 10th Mountain.
Now, did you move your family with you?
Yep.
So you back active duty in there?
Back active duty, doing it. The whole time I was in basic, and they told me Fort Polk, Louisiana. Our drill sergeant's like, "Oh man, I'm sorry for you." Why? They're like, "It's Louisiana. That place sucks." I'm like, "What you mean it sucks? It's hot. It's humid." I'm like, "Man, I'm from Florida. It's always hot and humid."
Right.
They're like, "Yeah, but it's out in the middle of nowhere." I'm like, "All right. Well, I'm from the country anyway, so my mom lives out in the middle of nowhere."
Yeah, so you good. You good. You got your family with you. So
yeah, so we out there, and yeah, this was more secluded than what I grew up in. It was right outside that base. There's nothing really around it but a Walmart and a couple strip clubs and bars.
Yeah.
So for anytime I wanted to have fun, I'm a baseball fan. Like baseball, football, I love going to games and stuff.
Yeah.
I would have to go 3 hours to Houston.
Oh, wow.
Or 4 hours to New Orleans to go catch a Saints game.
Oh, wow.
So
that's like a mini vacation almost.
Yeah, so I would have to wait. I'm like, my favorite team are Jacksonville Jaguars.
Okay.
Right, so I would look on the football schedule. I'm like, oh yeah, the Jaguars come to Houston.
Right.
And it's a 3-day weekend.
Right. Boom.
I know exactly where I'm going. Or I'll be like, oh yeah, the Yankees are coming to town. Yep, it's a 3-day weekend.
Yeah. Boom.
Pack up the truck and go to Houston for the weekend.
That episode from there, is that where you, at what point did you become the recruiter? Let's go there. What point did you become?
So I became a recruiter. So I came back in the military in 2018. I became a recruiter in November of 2022.
Okay.
I picked up staff sergeant in 2021. So yeah, 2022 I came out to recruiting.
Now is that a an automatic transition so people can understand? Is that an automatic transition, or
No,
did you get
so
selected for that?
there's two ways you can become a recruiter.
Okay.
You either volunteer for it, or the Army tells you you're going to be one.
Right.
Right. I volunteered because the infantry wasn't what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Right. And not because it was hard. It was because I came in to the infantry as a sergeant.
Right. Right.
Right. I'm expected to perform as a sergeant.
Right.
Right. I wasn't up to par when I got to my unit to the other sergeants. Right. So my rank, when we get rated, it's called NCOERs.
Yeah, the NCOER. Yeah.
I was always number 4 out of 4, 5 out of 5 for like that first year and a half.
Yeah.
For pretty much for like that first year or two, I was rated low. So my contract's about to end, and I did it because that contract was a 3-year contract.
Okay.
I picked up staff because I did show them like, hey, I am hungry. I do want to do this, and I try. Obviously, I'm not going to be better than the guys that have been doing this since privates.
Right. Exactly.
But
Exactly.
I am trying, and so my 3 years is about to happen, and I'm not going to get out because I did nothing different from when I got out before.
Right. So like I'm staying in.
So, I go to the career counselor, and I was like, hey man, I want to just reclass. I don't want to go there. He was like, what are you trying to do? I'm like, tell you the truth, I'm trying to do your job. I think career counselor would be cool. But I already saw what it's like to be on the outside. I could try. I think I'd be good at trying to keep guys in. And he's like, all right. And they worked out a deal for me to, like, I did a packet and everything to be a career counselor.
Yeah.
I got denied because I guess there's a time limit. You have to be, for you to switch to be a career counselor, can't be in no more than 12 years. 12, 13 years, something like that. And I had missed it by a year. So I think I was like at 13, 14 years. So the guy's like, hey man, he was a career counselor and he had been a recruiter in the past.
Okay.
So he's like, why don't you just go recruiting? I'm like, I think you'd be good at it. He's like, you're good at keeping people in. I can just imagine how you're gonna do getting people to come in.
Right.
And I'm like, oh no, I heard recruiters work too much. They on numbers and
the numbers.
I'm not trying to do that. I'm not trying to stay up till. But I dropped the package for recruiting, got accepted for recruiting. I ended up. I have a big ego, right?
That's about the third time you said something about your ego. We're gonna go there in a minute. We're gonna go there. I'm gonna let you finish.
I'm a big and I think recruiting fed into that. Right? So I come out to recruiting, and the first thing that we do is a annual training conference, right? And they're awarding all the best recruiters from 2022. And I'm noticing all the best recruiters come from Redlands. They from Redlands, they're from Palm Desert, they from Yucca Valley, they're from all these different places, San Bernardino.
Yeah.
Like, all the guys getting awards, that's where they were from.
Yeah.
So there was a station commander, the guy that's in charge of one of the stations, and he was like, he posted on his Instagram that look at all these top hitters and all this. I'm like, all right, man. But like, the only top hitters because I wasn't around. This time next year, I'm gonna be the one on top.
Right.
And I busted my tail there in Hemet. And I ended up being the top guy that a year later.
Wow.
And then helping my company at the time, which is Temecula Company,
Okay.
make strides to be one of the top companies in Southern California.
Wow.
To where this year, as I was leaving, guys in Temecula Company are putting 30, 40 contracts in, something that I never did.
Whoa.
But they were the guys that were pretty much there to replace me.
Mm-hmm.
They would ask me questions when they got there, like, "Hey man, how do you do this? How do you do that?
Yeah.
What made you successful?" And I'm not a gatekeeper, so I'm
Yeah.
like, "Hey, dude, I do this, I do that. I go here, I go there."
Yeah.
And these guys are putting in contracts left and right.
Wow.
Um,
That's cool.
And I'm actually proud of them. They ended up being the top company in Southern California. So they went from being scrubs when I first got there
Yeah.
to ending up being the top company. And I'm actually kind of proud of them. I know some of them are probably watching.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
actually proud to
cool.
know that I left that place better than when I got there.
Yeah. And so the whole ego conversation, right? And pride. Oh no, I'm not gonna bash you for it, because I believe as human beings, we gotta have that, right? We need that sense of self-love, self-esteem, self-worth, right? From ourselves first, right? Not from outside folks, right? And I believe the only time that pride really gets in the way is when it's up against another person, like me having pride toward you, right? Not about what I'm doing and my view of my success in life, but more when it comes to that other person, where I believe it starts to get kind of muddy waters, and where it's like, okay, your ego and pride is now diminishing another person. But for your self-love, for your self-worth, I think, and I say that because even how I grew up in my environment, it's like you can't brag about yourself. You can't be like, oh, I did this, I've done this. Like my dad would be like, son, you deserve it, you earned it. But then my mom would be like, oh, don't talk like that, because you're gonna make people feel bad and stuff. And I'm like, but so how do you manage being proud of yourself, right? So you have to have the level of that sense of pride. I believe everybody needs that, so you don't get stuck with it as an outside force trying to get it from other people to feel pride, right?
And I think a lot of it too is like in my first year and a half of recruiting, what you wouldn't believe this, but before recruiting, I was shy.
That's why you had the ego. That's why you had the ego.
I was a quiet dude, right? I don't really like talking. I wasn't the social media type. I'm not. Me being on a camera talking would have never happened prior to recruiting.
Yeah.
Right.
What do you think that? What do you think that was though? What do you think that was that wedge?
So when I came out to recruiting, or when I went to recruiting school, they said that social media, because when I get to recruiting school, it's coming out of the COVID era.
Right.
So a lot of my instructors were recruiters during COVID. They were recruiters or in charge of stations in 2020, 2021.
Right.
And they were saying that even though they were isolated, one of the things that made them successful was social media. Whether it be they're posting pictures about the Army, doing talking heads like I do or whatever.
Yeah.
That helped them. So I took that from the recruiting school. I was like, all right, well, let me create my little social media page. And like you go all the way back from when I first started. It all started with me posting pictures of the Army. Like, oh, we got this job. And hey, this unit is going over here and this unit is doing this. And I like to work out, so I'm like, look, I'm wearing my little Army PT shirt at the gym, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I did this workout, right? To then I would go to schools, and I would talk to kids, and kids would hit me up like, "Hey, I was kind of scared to ask you a question, but I was trying to see if you can answer this for me." I'm like, "Yeah," and then it clicked on my mind, and then I started watching. There's a guy on TikTok and Instagram. His name is Dutton Mindset.
Okay.
He's a Marine recruiter.
Okay.
And he does like the motivational videos and help recruiters recruit type deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw a lot of his videos, and I was like, man, the stuff that he's saying are the conversations that I have day to day. So then I was like, you know what? The questions that I get from high school kids, I must just put that on video.
Right. Smart.
My own little spill.
Smart.
And then I started all with my phone, just pop it up in the office. And I would just hit up ChatGPT, like, hey, create me a script to answer this question. And then it blossomed. Like off of that one video.
Wow.
I ended up getting like 2-3 leads out of it.
Oh, no kidding. That's legit.
I was like, wait, this is being more beneficial to me.
Yeah.
So then I would continue on making those type of videos of talking about the military. Parents not letting you join. I'm scared of going to war. How am I gonna? I just want to go pay for college.
All the questions that we had. Yeah.
All that kind of stuff, right? And then my son, he graduated last year. So I'm looking at the stuff that he's struggling with at home, not taking my advice. So he's like, Dad, you've been in the military. Of course he's bounced around, and he's seen like, he's like, this ain't for me.
Yeah.
Military life is not for me. And I'm like, dude, you don't gotta do the same thing I did.
Right.
I'm like, your dad's crazy. Your dad likes to do the whole jumping out of airplanes and all that kind of stuff. You don't gotta do all that.
Yeah. No.
So he's like, nah. But I would see him struggle, and I was like, you know what? He ain't the only kid that's struggling.
Right.
And luckily he has me. So
yeah.
If he decides he wants to go to school, he has my GI Bill.
Exactly.
He doesn't have to worry about it.
Right.
But most kids in Hemet and San Jacinto, they don't have that opportunity.
They don't have that, yeah.
Right. Or I would talk to kids, or we had a lot of walk-ins that would come in that were 25, anywhere between 25 to 35 with bachelor's degree. They can't find work.
Wow.
And they in $60,000 worth of student loan debt.
Wow.
And it's like, why didn't you join outside of high school?
Wow.
Like, oh, well, my parents told me I need to go to college.
Wow.
And so, as the more I was recruiting, the more I saw the day-to-day issue of society. Because you got to remember, I joined at 17. And even when I got out of the military, I was still using my VA benefits to cover going to college and law enforcement agency and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I really never got to experience the civilian life.
Yeah.
As a civilian.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is to pay for college.
Yeah.
But apparently people go into thousands of dollars of student loan debt.
Yes, they do.
So I'm like, man. So I started making these videos on how you can be better. How the Army can help you with this, with that. My only experience is when I got told by that Amazon
Oh,
recruiter.
yeah.
That the only thing that was different between me and the other guy was that I didn't have any certifications.
Right.
Well, I make videos now about, hey, this job gets you this certification and that certification. This is how you get that certification. So when you get out of the military,
That's
you
cool.
make your $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 job that you're looking at. Or, I mean, there's some jobs out there that you can make a nice little penny off of your 3 years of experience.
Oh yeah, $70,000-$80,000 job, $100,000 gigs now.
Right. So it's like, I think if someone would have told me when I was a young buck of, hey, make sure you go get the certification so that way you can be successful when you get out. I didn't do anything education-wise while I was in the first time.
Yeah.
I mean, now I got my bachelor's degree in Homeland Security.
Yeah.
But, and I think doing this recruiting bid, and I'm now in a journeyman to get my apprenticeship to get some licenses to be a human resources.
Okay.
So when I retire here in 3 years, 4 years,
you're prepared.
I'm set. I could go work for FEMA. I could go become a recruiter for some type of agency or something.
Right. No. That's legit. And thank you again for sharing your life, around what you're up to today, because I've been retired for 12 years now. And my transition out wasn't the best because I had that sickle cell trait. I got a medical retirement, so I was forced out, all that other stuff that came with that. And my identity was trapped in my rank and in that camouflage for 24 years. So me losing sight of myself, when I share my story, when I talk to the soldiers about not just my trade experience with the rhabdo, but I also share my mental anguish that I dealt with, right? And then how I got out of it. The students that you're recruiting today, with social media is like such a big driver. What is the biggest concern that you see today for the children, the young adults joining the military? Different from when I joined at 89, so I was way ahead of you, and I know there's been different phases of the military growing and changing. Today, what do you see is like? You know what?
So we live in an age where everything is easily accessible, right?
Yeah.
So kids might have an interest and then go on TikTok or go on Instagram or whatever and see a soldier or a Marine or whatever who probably had a bad day that day.
Right.
Make a video
saying,
the Army did this, the Marines did this, right? Because we've all had those days where we're like,
of course,
F this, man. I don't know why I signed this contract.
Of course.
Right? But everybody's so quick to make a video nowadays and post it that those kids sometimes will see that. Like, well, I saw a video of so-and-so that said that they didn't get whatever they didn't get. Or right now the big topic is the beards.
Yeah.
I think the big topic right now is this government shutdown. The beards, the being fat, the women meeting standards, all the stuff that we heard the Secretary of War say.
Yeah.
Right. Because we did get relaxed for a little bit. Things did step back. This isn't the same military that I joined in 2005.
Right.
I don't say that the people are soft because that's not the case at all.
Right.
Because I heard that when I first joined. Oh, this generation is soft.
Right.
You said you joined in 89?
89.
So it was your generation calling my generation soft. Right? Just because it wasn't as hard as when you joined.
Yeah, it was just they were just kind of calming down a little bit because I went to Fort Jackson and I stayed in Drag Ass Hill, and they was like, yeah, if you up there, it was because I think that's just when they created Hollywood, that part of Fort Jackson they call Hollywood. So I was like right in that transition of where it was not as hard, but it was still kind of like it's tough. So yeah.
So, but yeah, like that generation in the '90s would tell the generation of the early 2000s that that they're soft, right? Well, now you have these my peers, right, that join in early 2000s
Yeah.
that look at these kids and say the same exact thing,
Yeah.
right? I don't think they're soft. Anyone that joins the military, joins law enforcement, does anything like that,
Yeah.
is not soft at all.
Yeah.
Now, has standards relaxed? Yes.
Yeah.
Certain things that are out there, I'm like, yeah, how do we let that happen?
Yeah.
Like one of the big things is like cell phones in Army boot camp.
Right.
I agree with it. Hey, let them have their cell phones for 15 minutes. I guarantee you, back in 2005, if I had a phone, but I didn't have a phone back then. I guarantee you, my mom would have told me 2 weeks earlier to be a man, and I would have probably sucked it up
and shut it off, right? And shut it off, right?
I would have probably changed my mentality faster than wait 2 weeks for one letter.
Right. Yeah.
But it's a thing. Like a lot of these kids don't know how to write. They grew up in an age where they've been typing everything.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of these kids now can't even pass the ASVAB.
Wow. I was wondering.
So,
wow.
Like the Army had to create a school to teach kids how to pass the ASVAB.
Wow.
So
the RSP program, do they do well? No, but they're already in the RSP program. So this is before RSP program then.
So what they do is if someone scores between a 24 and 30 on the ASVAB, they send them to a school at Fort Jackson to learn how to pass. They got 3 months, and in those 3 months they have 3 chances. Right. At the end of the first month, they'll take the ASVAB. If they pass it, cool. These are what jobs are available in the system today. What do you want? I've had guys that have been lucky and picked great jobs. And then I've had guys that picked, I'm like, I kind of don't like that job for you. But just do that for your 3 years, and you'll be able to switch on.
Yeah.
I try to keep their heads up.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things. At least there's that program to where they know, like, hey, yeah, I didn't score high. Go over here, and they're gonna bump. They usually bump up. I think they said that the average person goes up by 18 points.
Oh wow, that's pretty good then. That's pretty good.
And I mean, ideally, it's nothing new. Because I had to go to that similar type school to become a recruiter.
Really?
Even though I had passed the ASVAB,
yeah,
my general technical score, my GT score, wasn't high enough to become a recruiter.
Got you. Yeah.
So I had to go to a school or a class, like a BSEP, to bump up my score.
Bump up your GT, yeah.
So
okay,
ideally, it's the same class that they had for guys that were already in that needed to bump up their GT scores.
Yeah.
The only thing is they opened it up to civilians.
Wow. Now, does that person have to pay for that, or the military?
They're getting paid.
Really?
Yeah, they are. They wear the uniform. They are in the.
So have they passed ASVAB and everything, or did they just score low and they got in with a low number to increase it, or they're still
pretty much the way it works is they enlist, they get their date to leave, they go to that program, they give them 3 weeks of instruction, pretty much reading, math, a lot of math from what I hear. And then they memorize word. There's 200 and something words apparently that's on the app now. They make them memorize those words.
Wow.
You gotta think. You ain't got nothing to do. You ain't got no phone. There's no outside distraction. Right? So you're pretty much memorizing the 200 something words that are on the test.
Wow.
And the part of the ASVAB that's most important is that word knowledge and the math.
And the math, yeah.
So if you're in class and you memorize the formulas, then you get, and you're after class, because they're only in class from I think 8 to 4 or something like that, because it's Sylvians that teach it.
Yeah.
After that, they got from when they eat dinner to when it's time to go to bed
to study more.
So
got you.
You pretty much memorize those words that you that they gave you, or hey, you struggled on those formulas today. So
that's crazy. That's cool.
And so they're bumping up their scores. They pass on that first try.
Mm-hmm.
Pick a job, go to the basic training.
Wow.
If they pass, so I've had guys that go supply, go to different combat jobs. I had one become an aviation mechanic.
Yeah. Dang. We got a few more minutes left. Again, thank you for being on today, man. Like I said, we've been on Instagram together, back and forth, and so me reaching out to you, man. In fact, you agreed to this a few weeks ago. So just want to say thank you. Real quick, you're in Texas now.
Yeah.
You said you have like 3 or 4 more years before you pull the plug. Is your education? I mean, like I said, you got your education. Do you feel like you're prepared for what's next in your transition?
I think so, and I'm less scared now. Right.
Thank you.
So,
thank you for that.
A lot of my force of staying in was my kids. Right. I always use my kids as my excuse. Right. They're not my reason for staying in. They're my excuse for staying in.
Yeah.
Right. Because I could always do something else and figure life out like a lot of veterans do.
Yeah.
Right. So every time it's been time for me to sign a contract, it's like, nope, I got to do this for my kids. Right. But my son is 18 now, and my daughter turned 16 here in January. So
okay,
when I retire, when it's time for me to go, both my kids will be grown.
Yeah.
To where it's just going to be me and the wife.
Yeah.
And as long as the wife puts up with me,
you're good to go.
We're good to go, right? We don't have little kids to take care of anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that gives me peace of mind of knowing I can retire and figure the next chapter out.
That's cool. Man, thank you for your time today. Did I miss anything? Is there anything that you want to say to your counterparts from the HIMIT to where you are now? What do you want to shout out to those characters?
I just if any of the recruiters are watching this, just keep grinding. It's not an easy job. I make it look easy, but it's not easy. It's a lot of late nights, a lot of early mornings.
Yeah.
It's a lot of time taken away from the family to help one person out.
Yeah.
But it is totally worth it. I would not change it for the world. I'd be changed to be a permanent recruiter. That's why I'm here in Texas now. So I love it. I love it. And every applicant I get to help, I definitely like to hear their success stories.
Yeah.
And even now, like the first people I've enlisted are now getting ready to get out. And I'm just like, man, that's crazy.
Right. You know, thank you again for sharing your story, man. What do you want to say to your wife, your children? What do you want to say to them?
That I love them. Right now they didn't come to where the city that I'm at, which is Del Rio, Texas, because the city is small, and they're like, after being in California for 3 years, they didn't want to come here. So they are 6 hours away from me in El Paso.
Okay.
But they know that I love them. I miss them. I want them here, but obviously they'll be better where they at. So,
Yeah.
but they know I love them.
How you dealing with that? Are you
It's
homesick?
different. I've never been alone.
Yeah.
So I'm treating it like it's a deployment.
Got you.
Right. It is 6 hours away. So all I do is I've already been home twice. I've only been here for 2 weeks, and I've already gone back twice.
Yeah.
So I just treat it to where I'm like, hey, this weekend's a long weekend.
Yeah.
Actually, this weekend is a long weekend. I'm going home for 3 days.
Yeah.
Or 4 days, whatever.
That's cool. Man, Tom Pacheco, man, thank you again, man. I really, like I said, it was a pleasure meeting you. Like I said, my shows are 99% organic, y'all. So we just spoke on Instagram Messenger. That was it. You know, this is my first time hearing this story, seeing him face to face like this. So this is always a pleasure to connect to my brothers and sisters at arms, man. And so I'm very proud of you. I appreciate your story. Very impactful story. The transitions that you've gone. I know a lot of, I won't say I know a lot, but I have some close friends who were Marines and became National Guard recruiters. So it's
yeah. So I don't know what it is. A lot of Marines tend to go to the National Guard.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why? If
I don't
there's
know.
one set of, if there's one branch that I don't like, and it's the National Guard.
What? Oh, hold on. So what don't you now? I started in the Guard, my first 4 years, and then because I wanted to go active duty first, but my uncle was in the Air Force Reserve, so he was like, "Go part time first, because if you go full time and you don't like it, you're stuck in that contract. So go part time, see if you like it, and then you could always transfer and go active duty." So I did that. I was on the streets during the riots, all that stuff, earthquakes. And then around 93 going into 94, I was like, you know what? I can do this. Like, I like this. And I happened to go in the recruiting armory, and I asked the readiness NCO, like, hey, you know, I want to go active duty. You know, where should I start? And he was like, well, if you look on that clipboard over there, there's some full-time guard positions. I was like, I didn't know what no AGR position was. And so I go to the clipboard. I'm flipping through, and there was an E4 supply sergeant for HAC. But it closed in 3 days. So this was like right after Christmas, and it was closing like December 30th. And I was able to get my packet, photo, everything typed up and mailed off to the branch, and ended up being selected for AGR in 94. So, you know, I spent 20 years AGR. I was able to transfer to Michigan, like, and come back to California, up in Roseville. Got my great episode. You know, great career for myself. They say AGR is like the best kept secret because you're active duty, but you get, you know, but you're closer to home. I think it's a little bit challenging because as an AGR, you know, I did like 7 jobs, you know, where my peers in active duty, you do 1 job and pretty much that's it. So, but what is your part about the nasty girls that you don't like?
So my only interaction with National Guard has been out there in California.
Okay.
Right. And my thing is my only thing with them is, right, if you're active duty, you're doing this every day on the grind, right?
Yeah.
Do what you're told when you're told to do it, all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
If you join the reserves, then you really are part time. You get your schedule. Those reservists got their schedule in September.
Yeah.
Of what they're doing for the whole year. Right. And if they're scheduled to go to deployment that year, right? Their train updates and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
So a reservist has more flexibility to go to college, open up a business, all that kind of stuff.
No, that's true. Yeah.
Right. To do the part and be a part-time soldier. Right?
Yeah.
They have that flexibility.
Yeah.
The National Guard in California, at least, and all the states are different. So I hear from all the National Guard recruiters when I tell them this. But at least in California, and I'm seeing it here in Texas as well, is the governor can tell you when to do something.
Oh,
And
that
you
part.
are, if you're in college,
Oh, that
there's
part.
a fire in LA.
Yeah.
Guess what? I don't care about your college. You're
Yeah.
gonna go fight fires,
Yeah.
right? Or President Trump now with this whole immigration stuff. Yeah, put your life on pause. I need you to go help out Border Patrol. I need you to go help out ICE. ICE or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. I might be a college student. I might be a business owner. I might be some type of professional where now you're getting into my life. Now you're getting into my. Now you're costing me money, right? Or you're impeding in
Yeah.
things. If I wanted to do that, I would have went active duty. If I wanted
Right.
to work every day, I would have went active duty.
Right.
Right. So that's my thing with the National Guard.
I can see that. I can see that. I can see that on the other side.
If you're gonna go, California National Guard is more active than they are reserved.
Yes.
There's so many disasters, so many things happening.
Yes.
That you might as well just go active.
Yeah. California is busy.
California is busy.
Yeah.
Texas, I'm looking at it in the little bit I've been around.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. They over here in the border doing their thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think they get as much natural disasters as California does.
Yeah.
I don't know about that part yet. But at least I know they're active doing these borders.
Yeah. Okay, I can see it. I can see that part. I can see that. I can see that side.
My thing is, if somebody's going to join the National Guard, go in there with the mind open of, I know that a major possibility of me being called into this situation. I can't be close because a lot of my applicants that I deal with are closed-minded individuals.
Yeah, yeah.
You told me that I can go to school full time.
That part.
And be a part-time soldier. Why are you telling me that I got to go fight a fire?
That part right there.
You didn't tell me about that part. You didn't tell me, right?
Yeah. I feel you. I feel you on that.
When I have somebody tell me, yeah, I'm thinking about National Guard. Hey man, you ever thought about the reserves? And flip the reserves on them, and most of the time it works.
Yeah.
Sometimes they do know what they're getting themselves into of the different situations that happen in that state.
Yeah.
And they'll still go National Guard.
Yeah, I feel you on that one. I like I said, I enjoyed it. They called the citizen soldier, where you went to work and you did that, and then like I said, I was on the streets of the riots the night it happened, started, and then like a whole month, But I was lucky to have a gig that gave me the time off, right, of work that.
And then the other thing I think the other part I don't like National Guard too is from my time in law enforcement as well. Right. So in Florida, we got hurricanes.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of my partners are in the National Guard. Pulled them off the line of law enforcement. So they got to go they got activated to go do their National Guard stuff. And do what the National Guard does for hurricane relief.
Yeah.
Now I'm pulling a double because there ain't enough people to control the streets.
Got you.
So
yeah,
that kind of, I think that also sinks in sometimes when I'm like
the National Guard conversation.
Yeah, when the National Guard, I'm like, man, back when I was in law enforcement, I hated them.
It makes sense.
I hated my coworkers that were National Guard.
It makes sense.
They don't know what the struggle was.
Cool, man. Thank you for sharing that, man. Again, I thank you so much for today, man. Again, much success to you. I'm sure we'll be connected on social media, so I'll be looking out for you as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm always open.
Yeah. Thank you so much, man.
All right. Thank you.
Take care. All right. You are tuned into the Farron Dozier Show. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Again, if you want to be a guest at Farron Dozier, you can hit me up over there. Shouts out to Sergeant Pacheco for being out here and sharing his story, life before, during, and you heard a little bit of his after. And I agree with him. You know, if you're serving our country active duty, I tell soldiers when I go and speak, that uniform is not who you are. It's what you get to do, right? So make sure you don't lose your connection to your family, to things that you care about in the world. You know, in my transition, I thought life was over. Like, it was literally, I'm done. I don't want to be a part of it no more. Like I quit. Like, I give up. But God showed me that, no, I got something else for you. Like, I had to get you out of that camouflage because I need you to take care of this conversation over here, right? And so now that I had to understand that, but in the midst of the transition of that, it was very difficult, right? So a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety, and I'm still having to manage that because I still do miss the military even today, 12 years later, right? But it's what you get to do, is not who you are as a person. So for some of us as veterans, emotional, those of us that what's next? Like, you really want to start to figure out the things in life that you can connect to, that you care about, so that when you take that uniform off, your identity isn't trapped. It isn't stuck in that. Like you said, we all make decisions why we come to the service. We all have reasons why we do what we do. It's not always about God and country. And if it's for a reason, sometimes when that reason doesn't turn out how we expect it to turn out, then we get stuck. And it's hard for us to pick something else or change in that transition, because transition and change is difficult for some people. They say change, life is hard. Life is whatever, how you describe it. And sometimes transition is change is difficult for people. It's what you do. It's not who you are. Figure out who you want to be while you're serving, right? That's how I became the sickle cell trait advocate. That's how I found this, being on the internet radio back then, Blog Talk, now it's podcasting. This is part of my transition into what was next. I didn't know. It was a hobby. It kept me alive. Those talk shows that I was doing in 2010 it interrupted that piece of wanting to take my life and put in place a episode for next week. So I started living into each episode each week, and I didn't want to take my life. Now, I still had thoughts. I still dealt with it, but I had a show to plan, right? So my identity started becoming into this talk show and figuring that out as what's next. All right. So again, thank you for tuning in, listening in today. I'm going to get out of here. Catch you next week right here on MB Radio. Shout them out. Again, mbradio.us. You see this right here? You can click that right there, scan that, donate to the organization, help pay for some of these bills, keep these veterans coming to the table as they can start to create their space, share their stories, interview other veterans and communities that they care about. That's all we get to do. That's what we get to do here, right? Thanks for tuning in, listening in. This is the Farron Dozier Show. Again, at Farron Dozier, right there. Shout out to What's the Count.
Do you remember studying sickle cell in biology class? What's the Count on sickle cell trait prevention is here to bring you awareness, education, and prevention conversations around the risk factors of this inherited gene. Visit wdconsct.org.
Zetovia salve, made from natural and organic ingredients, good for inflammation, poor circulation, hemorrhoids, yeast infection, lip sores, dry coughs, eye pain, minor cuts and bruises, and ready to purchase at botanicaherbalco.com. botanicaherbalco.com. botanicaherbalco.com.
Muchos de nosotros nos vemos afectados por la enfermedad de células falciformes a diario y un número creciente simplemente no nos damos cuenta. Los impactos de esta enfermedad afectan a todas las personas y en especialmente a las personas de color y con antecedentes diversos. Estar en servicio conmigo y con los demás a medida que creamos una mayor conciencia sobre cómo identificar y dirigir el tratamiento de los rasgos de células falciformes y ayudar a las familias a saber cómo superar el trastorno de células falciformes. WDCONS
Military Broadcast Radio, the station that's giving veterans a voice.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.